The following is a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club. How about them Cowboys? Go Cowboys! This is Talkin Cowboys. Streaming live from the Dallas Cowboys World Headquarters at the Star in Frisco.
CeeDee Lamb, touchdown. Parsons has sacked it. Prescott keeps it, and he bangs it into the touchdown.
And now your hosts, Isaiah Stanback, Patrick Walker, Josh Rodriguez, and Kyle Youmans.
It's a Tuesday edition of Talking Cowboys presented by Black Rifle Coffee Company, live from the Star in Frisco, Texas, and the SWBC studios. Welcome in, everybody. We've got Tommy Yarrish, Josh Rodriguez, Isaiah Stanback with Chris Beam in the back. I'm Kyle Youmans. We have schedule release to talk about this week. We don't have the full schedule, but we got one game, and it's a pretty
you guys don't have the full schedule
game.
yet?
Oh, no, I don't.
You
What?
don't? You don't have it?
No,
man.
I thought Isaiah maybe would have it.
I mean,
Isaiah made the schedule. He sat down with the NFL Network crew and was like, this is where I want the Cowboys. You know what? Open up with the Philadelphia Eagles.
This is what I can tell you guys.
Uh-oh.
I can tell you this very confidently.
this
All right,
Cowboys
but just
Insider?
keep this under wraps. Don't
Okay.
tell anybody.
This is just a Talking Cowboys secret.
We are playing the Philadelphia Eagles week 1.
Whoa.
But we do have another game against the Philadelphia Eagles, and then we have 2 games against both the Commanders,
Wow.
and the New York Giants.
Talking Cowboys Insider.
Are they,
You know what?
Are they both home and away?
They're splitting them.
Oh,
There's
okay.
one home, there's one
Oh,
away.
okay.
I have a
No
Josh
two home games?
Stradamus moment right now.
Okay.
I have a feeling that we're going to play the Eagles 3 times this year.
Ooh. One would be the playoffs. for
One more
those
in the playoffs?
Thank you.
that don't know ball.
Just saying. It's just a feeling.
Just a feeling.
a feeling?
I would love that. I think it'd be great.
How are the Cowboys going to fare?
They're going to win all 3.
Cowboys win. Victory.
Ooh.
23-17.
One of them or
right.
2 of them?
Huh?
All 3.
What? 2 for 3.
2 for 3? Cowboys?
Yeah, 2 for 3.
That's realistic. That's realistic. No, we've got plenty of news and
66.6.
notes to get to, and we'll talk more schedule release in the second and the third segment. We're actually in the third segment. We're going to rank the opponents 1 through 17, but we're going to do it in a blind ranking.
Ooh.
So it's just randomized. They're going to come through as they come through, and then we're going to rank them from there, that point forward. But just like we've talked about multiple times on this show, all of the big-time news happens after the show comes to a close.
Oh, yeah. You mean what happened last week?
It happened again,
That's interesting.
gentlemen.
Why?
George Pickens is now a part of the Dallas
Oh, I thought you were going to talk
Cowboys.
about the guy from the South that called in. Oh, okay. So George Pickens. Yeah.
That was right after we were talking about wide receiver, too.
Yeah.
We were just talking about it, and I was accosting Patrick Nosey Walker for guaranteeing me a wide receiver the Friday after the draft. Or no, the next week after the draft. Anyways, I was just like, what are you
So it wasn't the guy that I thought, right? Because you guys know I was willing to
trying
die
to
on
die
the
on the
hill.
hill.
I was trying to die on the hill.
Oh, you thought.
Yeah, but I knew something was happening, right? We all knew something was happening, right? Because they obviously didn't draft anybody.
They weren't going to sit there and not
No,
address one.
it was going to be a true 1B type of situation, right? It was going to be a big splash. It wasn't just going to be a guy that can come in and fill some type of a role. It had to be a big-time impact player, which is why I was projecting that it was going to be that particular individual. However, when you look at them statistically, George Pickens actually fares in a, probably say a similar sense, if not a better sense, in terms of plus 20-yard plays. He's going to be one heck of a deep threat for a team that is going to be a heavy running team. You start talking about what their identity, what they're trying to elicit as their identity going forward. They want to be a run-first team. And by being a run-first team, you take the pressure off of Dak. You take the pressure off of these receivers for having to run 40-plus routes a game. And now you hopefully can cut that down to 25 routes a game. And now all of a sudden you have, out of those 25 routes, you have to distribute the ball between CeeDee, Schoonmaker, you know what I'm saying, Ferguson, and obviously now our new addition, George Pickens. So that's the perfect situation for them. Run the ball 35 times, throw it 25 times. And that's kind of the makeup that they're trying to get towards.
And the good part about wanting to have a heavy emphasis on running the ball is it opens up for those deep shots that George Pickens is good at. Now, the question for me is, and I was talking to Kyle about this yesterday, is, I mean, no quarterback really is in terms of like tight window throws and down the field 10, 15, 20 yards, air yards. Dak Prescott hasn't necessarily been the best in those types of situations. It hasn't been his strong suit. That said, when you look over the course of his career, he really hasn't had a guy, I think, who has the catch radius and athletic ability that George Pickens does in the air. I mean, you look at Michael Gallup and Amari Cooper, sure, they were able to do that, but I don't think they were as twitchy and, go up and he's had a couple of catches where it looks like he's laying down in the middle of the air and he's still able to come down with
horizontal
the ball.
to the ground.
I don't know if Dak Prescott's had that before. And you look at the charts in terms of where, CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens catch the ball the most, and they seem to complement each other really well.
Yep.
So
Charts.
this is all lining up. Yeah, charts.
Charts, traits, characteristics.
Yeah.
I feel like the best comparison that I've seen, and this was Nick Harris that brought this up on the break last week, is that he is a Gen Z Des Bryant.
See, and that was going to be my one Cowboys comparison to what Dak has had in the
stole
past.
it from you.
In terms of Dez Bryant, that's probably the one contested catch guy in athleticism, but I think it's a different build of player.
Right.
There's a different type of skill set. And yes, they're both contested catch guys. Deep threat ability are both there. But Pickens has a different edge to him from a finesse standpoint. He can still have the hands and the finesse that maybe Dez didn't necessarily have specifically. I think when it comes to it, Dak has had receivers in the past. He's had Amari Cooper. He's had Dez Bryant. He's had CeeDee Lamb. He's had Brandon Cooks, Michael Gallup, some of these guys along the way. I don't know if I can say a pairing fits better together than what they have now with CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens. Solely from an X's and O's standpoint. Okay. Solely from X's and O's. Because I know there is some character concern, some locker room thought process. I don't think it's as big of a deal because he's in a prove-it year. He's in a one-year deal. He's going to be on his P's and Q's all the way through the end of the season. However, X's and O's wise, I don't think you could have found a perfect fit in a 1-2 punch. A 1A, 1B, as Stephen Jones even talked about.
Yeah, I was about to say, they think the same way that you're thinking, right? They said that, Stephen Jones said on the radio yesterday that he feels like Pickens is a one receiver. So you've got 2 ones on the field, and you can, that's never going to be a bad thing. And you bring up Dez Bryant. Well, Stephen said that, he reminds a lot of the people in the Cowboys building about Dez Bryant from the contested catchability, but also from the perspective of like, hey, he plays with a little bit of emotion. He plays with an edge to him.
Yeah.
Sometimes that gets the best of him, and that comes back to bite him. But they had that with Dez, and they know that they're going to have that with George Pickens. But you made a good point, Kyle. He's going into a contract year. He has nothing guaranteed in front of him after this season, and he's got something to prove. To not just to himself, but to everybody out there who's talking about, hey, okay, this guy's a locker room cancer, which I don't think is the case. The Cowboys did their homework on this, and they feel like, okay, his teammates liked him enough to where he's not going to bring down our locker room. Is he very demonstrative sometimes when, maybe he's not getting the ball or the team's losing? Yeah. Wide receivers do that. I feel like that's a kind of a common
CeeDee
thing
Lamb did it
with wide receivers, and maybe he's more demonstrative about it than others are, but it's a widespread issue now. That's not to say that, he can't sometimes go a little bit too far, but they feel confident that he can rein it in and really help this team.
It's one thing to have one organization say that you have had a problem within their walls, like Pittsburgh did with George Pickens. It's another thing for the other 30 teams in the NFL to see 2 organizations say the same thing. So George Pickens can't afford to come into this situation and leave the same way he did with Pittsburgh. He can't afford to do that.
Absolutely not. And another thing about George Pickens is that this is a contract year for him. I mean, he has an opportunity to, whether he wants to extend his contract with Dallas or get the bag somewhere else after this season, right? He has an opportunity, and what better way for him to do it than show that he's a good teammate, team player, that whole thing. I think you bring him in here to fix this stuff in a Dez Bryant fashion.
Do you think it's enough to fix this stuff in a Dez Bryant fashion?
I hope so. I just wanted Chris to use the drop.
Oh, got you.
I don't know
Fix
where
this.
Yeah, so
fix this stuff.
How about y'all fix this shit,
There it is.
sorry about that. I'm kind of over the narrative of passionate players who lose themselves emotionally being a detriment to a team. I'm kind of over that. He is a younger player who still has some maturing to do, but he has the one element of his game that you can't teach, and that's passion. So people say that they want passionate players, but they want it in a controlled environment somehow, some way when you're playing one of the most violent games on earth. you can't have everything. I'm sorry, people. You know what I'm saying? And all players aren't made the same. Every team has goons on offense, at the receiver position, tight end position, O-line position, running back. Everybody has a goon. They have a guy in every meeting room that is looked at as being that guy who has the attitude, whose passion comes through more boisterous than others. You know what I'm saying? So stop trying to make everybody look the same, right? So, yes, he gets penalties from time to time. Yeah, because he needs to get somebody to coach him up on how to harness that energy, right? He doesn't like people having a one-up on him. He doesn't like losing, right? People look at last year and what he did to Jordan Lewis. They were losing. Yeah, I'm sure Jordan said something to him, and it didn't sit well, right? He's a competitive guy. Kids throw tantrums. Adults kids grow into adults, right? If that problem isn't fixed, then it's going to continue to be the same way, displayed the same way. So, yeah, there's an opportunity for this coaching staff to help him develop. There's an opportunity for CeeDee Lamb, who I'm on record that Kyle knows, and the pre- and post-game show with the Dallas Cowboys on Pregame Live talked about multiple times about how CeeDee Lamb needed to grow up last year. I was very vocal about that.
Especially early in the season.
Especially early in the season when he was throwing a tantrum. And then there was one time, I don't remember what game it was, where CeeDee Lamb was literally on the sideline throwing a tantrum. Literally throwing a tantrum. Helmet is going around, throwing his arms up, really bad body language, and that got caught on film. And remember I told you, I said this is going to be a one heck of a moment for him because for the first time, he's going to have to see himself.
It's a Ravens game, week 3 last year.
Yeah, he had to see himself all over social media, all on national network television. And when you see yourself, when you're faced with looking at yourself in the mirror, you're like, that's what I look like? Everybody has been there, right? Whatever issues we may have as human beings.
Yep.
When we see it in somebody else, we're like, ugh, that's me? That's what I look like? And then what happens? It's your aha moment.
Yeah.
And CeeDee started changing. And then CeeDee started blocking. And then CeeDee started acting differently in terms of his leadership. Maybe he was thinking the same things, but it wasn't coming out of his mouth, right? So whether somebody got in his head, whether it was him seeing himself, whatever it was, he took steps forward and matured as a receiver like that.
Yeah, he did.
And he's not
one season.
He's not one of those demonstrative leaders. He's not going to be verbose. He's not going to be talking constantly on the sidelines in a way that he just leads by example.
Mm-hmm.
He's doing what he needs to do on the field. He's about his business. Early on in the season last year, I was very critical of CeeDee Lamb. I was critical of the fumbles and just like looking overall not prepared. And a big part of that was losing out on training camp. He wasn't there. You know, but he got in a groove, and obviously towards the end of the season, he was your most valuable player, hands down, for sure.
And he did it without Dak Prescott at quarterback.
And
for a lot of that.
Did it without a shoulder, dude.
Yeah.
Like it was amazing what he was able to accomplish. Yeah. You bring a guy like George Pickens in to not be the wide receiver 2, but like we're talking about being a wide receiver 1B to learn with a leader next to him like CeeDee. And I don't know, man. Like I guess an example that I can give you is Draymond Green. I don't like Draymond.
You got to have him.
But it's nice to have him on your team.
He's won a lot of championships.
He's won a lot of championships. You may not like him. You may not like to go up against him. But that is a dog.
Draymond, Kevin Willis, Kevin Willis, Dennis Rodman. You
Christian
have those guys.
Leitner.
Listen, but even just look
Cooper Flag.
Just look at this team. Look at this team. Offensive line. Who's your goon? Right on the back. Who's Brock Hoffman?
Yeah, Hoffman.
It's there, right? He's going to get you a penalty at some point. It's going to happen.
Yeah.
But you take that because you need that dog on it. Okay, let's go to the defensive line. Who's your guy?
Micah,
Sam Williams.
Sam Williams.
Right?
Sam Williams.
Osa.
You know what I'm saying? Like Osa, he's more, he has it together, right? I would say, but like in terms of emotions coming out. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about on the field. Like, okay, so
He's got a lot of those penalties that have
you can go by
emotional
position
penalties.
outside of the specialist. You're gonna find one guy in every single room who just has that passion that you gotta rank. You just gotta rank. You gotta hone it in, right? You gotta reel them in sometimes. You know what I'm saying? Kyle sometimes pregame. I gotta reel him in sometimes. You know what I'm saying? He goes crazy.
I get it,
so,
baby.
But it's okay, people. I'm saying all that to say it's okay, and you actually want that, right? If you're gonna be a running team, as a receiving group, everybody can't be nice.
Yeah. We got one of them in our writers' room, and his name is Tommy Yarrish.
That's what it is.
Pure dog.
Somebody in our chat brought it up and said maybe this is a way for Jerry to kind of test what Schottenheimer was talking about in his opening press conference, where he said, I'm great with X's and O's, I'm good with X's and O's, but I'm great with people.
Yep.
This is an opportunity to do that.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. You can have a great culture but you still need guys with an edge. I feel
Absolutely.
like every winning football team,
Yes.
when you think about great football teams, even here in the past, I mean, you think about Michael Irvin, and he was the ultimate picture
Thank you.
of passion, and sometimes it might get a little over the top.
Boil over.
But he's the playmaker. He made plays. And, I'm not saying that George Pickens is going to have the same impact Michael Irvin does, but in terms of the passion and how he demonstrates it, you need that.
Yeah.
You need that. We can't just all be, putting our arms around each other, doing the Rockettes dance. and
Kumbaya.
singing Kumbaya.
Name a
As much as I'd
championship-
love to. We
Hey,
can't.
As much-
name a
yeah, I don't know
championship
if my
team.
legs can get that high.
Name a championship team in any sport where you can't point to say that's the guy.
Yeah, look at last year. I think Jalen Carter is that for Philadelphia.
Can be, yeah.
You can look at a lot of different guys on that roster that have done
Their
that.
offensive line.
They got a few of them.
Gardner Johnson, those guys out
Yeah.
there whooping like
They're just-
you have multiple.
You
Again,
gotta have some. You gotta have
have to
some
have
mean guys.
I like it.
This is a nasty sport. Like,
It's not a nice game.
Isaiah said, no, we're not. It's not like rockabye baby.
But-
when you put somebody down on the ground, you're hitting hard.
you're hitting
and-
cats, bro. Like you're trying to take people's soul every single
Right.
play. But outside of that, let's look at the positive
Shao
side of
Kahn.
that addition, right? If this is going to be a run-first team, the most dangerous thing to a secondary is now play action, right? It's now play action. Now you have two guys who legit can get behind your safeties. You have two guys that can run routes. When you think about some of the best combos in the NFL, right? We did this last week on Good Morning Football, the best receiving combos in the league. I started making a list. It's freaking extensive now how many teams have nice 1-2 punches.
Yeah.
Right?
Your whole
Most-
division.
Oh, my
except
goodness.
for maybe the Giants, but they have Malik
Facts.
Neighbors, who's still a dog.
Facts.
Yeah.
Most teams have a possession guy and a deep threat guy. Yep. That's usually the combination that you have. In the case of the Cowboys, both of these guys are possession guys. Both of these guys are deep threat guys. Oh, and by the way, you have tight ends that can work underneath. Right? So when you start thinking about the identity of this team and what they're trying to do offensively, this goes with it. This keeps two safeties deep.
Honest.
Keeps two safeties deep. Go ahead and roll down to one safety. I dare you.
Yeah.
If you roll down to one safety, that means that you are literally choosing which one of these guys that you want to double if you are doubling them. And if you're doubling one guy's ISO'd.
Yeah. Well, one of the conversations that I had well before they even were in the mix for Pickens or they were looking at trading wide receiver. Actually, I think it was before the draft. I asked the question, what are you looking for in a wide receiver too? Where do you feel like you have to go? And the answer I got was they want somebody that if CeeDee Lamb is completely shut down, let's say he's completely taken out of the game. He's got 2 receptions for 16 yards. That's it. Can someone else on this roster get you 150 yards? Can somebody get you a $150 if CeeDee Lamb's completely negated in the game plan?
And you didn't
which
have
doesn't
that.
happen a lot.
Yeah.
But if it does Jalen Tolbert get you 150? Does Kevontae Turpin get you 150?
No.
Does Jonathan Mingo get you 150? No, they didn't feel like that, and I don't disagree. I think they had to go get a guy. And all these other names that surfaced along the way, the ones that were on other teams that we can't talk about specifically on this show, the ones that were free agency like Amari Cooper, do you feel like this year, 2025, Amari Cooper could get you 150? Probably it's borderline. Yeah. Cleveland had some big games from Amari, but he would disappear at times too. So
He's been at Buffalo.
George Pickens, exactly. George Pickens can get you 150. George Pickens can help set the table and be that guy outside of CeeDee Lamb. And so you have not one but 2 guys that you can rely on specifically. So you said run first offense and play action.
Right.
I'm looking at this as they're saying they want to run the ball. They drafted an offensive lineman. They're going to be physical on the interior. I love it. Still a question mark at running back, but you've got 2 dogs at wide receiver. Do you feel like they can set that up the right way, or is this going to be a pass-heavy offense?
I think they want to be 2 tight ends, probably 50% of the time, and I think that they want to run the ball. And then when you get nosy, obviously you got CeeDee Lamb, you're going to throw the ball.
Yeah.
You got George Pickens, you're going to throw the ball. But I think that in a perfect world, they want to go 2 tight ends, and they want to make you make some decisions. Make some business decisions. I think they want Ferguson and Schoonmaker on the field. They want CeeDee and George Pickens on the field, and they'll put whatever running back back there because we have a beastable O-line. Hopefully, that's the intent to be able to move guys off the line of scrimmage. That's what they want. And then third down situations, depending on who's going to step up now to be the wide receiver 3, who's going to be the slot guy. Is it going to be a situation where
I think it's going to be either Turpin or
where Turpin can make steps forward, right? Yeah. Now, if Turpin makes steps forward, when you go to 11 personnel, now you can put CeeDee in the slot. Mm-hmm. You put Turpin outside. If he develops as a receiver, like we know that his abilities will allow him to be, he has to put in the work.
Pickens played about 200 snaps in the slot too last year.
So yes, I mean the versatility that you have. Have you ever looked at the specs of CeeDee and Pickens? Like it's like almost identical.
Yeah, like height, weight, speed.
It's crazy.
I love the idea that like the best that you've seen the Dallas Cowboys offense over the past 3 or 4 years is when you're feeding CeeDee Lamb, bar none. This move just gives that more credence. You are able to feed CeeDee more when you have a guy like George Pickens on the outside who is a threat. What we've talked about before, the how awful and sputtered along the offense was last year. It's because all we really had in terms of a threat was CeeDee Lamb.
Yep.
You get another guy that's comparable, that's versatile, that you can do all these things with. It just opens that up for CeeDee Lamb, but also you can throw to him. Yeah. Come on, dude. I love it.
I think to add on to that, part of where I think the Cowboys offense has been at their best with Dak Prescott is when he gets to play action. I think
play action quarterback.
I think that's his best.
Absolutely.
trait.
And defenses have to respect it too.
And defenses have
they can fall for it.
Right.
Yeah,
and
for
I think,
years.
when Isaiah mentioned, okay, if you want to bring a safety down, you're doubling one guy, or you're leaving George Pickens one-on-one. If he's covered by a corner, you're like, yeah, we're good. Okay, somebody's in the seam as a tight end. Somebody's crossing as a tight end or Jalen Tolbert, something like that. So they've got options, and Dak Prescott is a smart enough quarterback to make the right decision most of the time. I think one of the things that I would like to see is how Brian Schottenheimer wants to use Jaden Blue. Because when you watch his tape at Texas, Steve Sarkisian loves the orbit motions and to get their running backs moving early before the snap and just get it quickly out to them in space. If you're going to run play action, can you incorporate that kind of stuff into it?
Yes.
Can you get Jaden Blue the ball in space? Because he's going to be a guy sort of like Kevontae Turpin. I think they can fill into
They're
that
going to use
same
both
mold.
those guys in similar
ways.
ways.
And if you can get in on that and get them into open space, how does that change your offense? Can you run the ball well enough to a point where they've got to respect that? I think there'll be more balance than people think between run and pass, but there's a lot of fun things you can do with the players on this team now that you've got George Pickens.
It's crazy how much they're going to have to build that balance. I was going through the stats from last year, updating the spotter boards, like I said last week, and one of the stats that jumped out at me was the fact that out of the 327 first downs that Dallas had last year, 192 were through the air, and only 98 were on the ground. They had 94 more first downs through the air than they had on the ground last year, which is a wild statistic if you're wanting to try and find a balance.
Yeah.
There's a lot of imbalance there. Now, we've got to take our first break. I know. What do you want to say? Go ahead and add it because we're going to talk schedule.
No, I'm just being a football nerd. I'm ready to
I can tell you're excited about it.
No, I'm excited about the
wore
potential.
your yellow today, so thank you, Pittsburgh.
Yeah, I'm very excited about the potential. My thought that just came across my head that nobody else probably cares about is I'm intrigued and I'm interested in seeing what the offensive line splits look like.
I care.
Yeah.
I care.
I want to see what the splits look like. But you start thinking about Blue.
Everybody here cares.
Yeah. Right? I mean, but I don't know
Including
if everybody,
our listeners at home.
I don't know if our listeners understand the complexity and
Well, then we've got to teach.
Yeah, we got to teach them. We'll teach
got to
them.
teach.
We'll teach them up.
It's a long way to. A lot of them do.
A lot of footballers though.
All right, a lot of football to go, including 18 games, 18 weeks of a schedule, not 18 games.
Heck yeah.
It's coming up.
But we're the first game, baby.
First game of the year. What happened to the Eagles late in the schedule? We'll talk about how the Cowboys are going to open against the defending Super Bowl champs when we come back with more Talking Cowboys right after this. If you're looking for fresh American roasted coffee that gives back, you need to head to your local grocery store and pick up a bag of Black Rifle coffee. That's right, America's coffee is now available in the coffee aisle of a grocery store near you. Black Rifle Coffee Company is veteran-founded with a mission to give back to those brave men and women who have served our nation. Every bag, box, or can you purchase helps support that mission. Head to your local grocery store and roast yourself some Black Rifle coffee today.
Todd thought it would be secure to jog in the cheetah savanna. Todd believed the big cat repellent he bought online was reliable. And now, Todd is trying to be faster than this cheetah that can run 80 miles per hour. But the good news is, Todd has AT&T 5G that is fast, reliable, and secure. And he learned the best thing to do is stop running and toss her the backpack with the beef stew. AT&T 5G. Fast, reliable, secure.
5G requires compatible plan and device. 5G may not be available in your area. See att.com/5G for you for details.
It's the official men's skincare brand of the Dallas Cowboys, Jack Black. And right now, Cowboys fans can get 15% off their $75 order. Plus, because every deal needs a playmaker, your order will include a free 5-piece skincare set and free shipping. The Jack Black Playmaker is 4 of Jack's favorites and a full-sized intense therapy lip balm. Make a play for the playmaker at getjackblack.com/Cowboys with the code CowboysVIP. That's getjackblack.com/Cowboys with the code CowboysVIP.
If you shout, "How about them Cowboys?" you have that undeniable passion that's the heart of Cowboys Nation. And if you like to drink Dr. Pepper, you love the unique blend of its 23 flavors. Together, your one-of-a-kind fandom paired with the one-of-a-kind taste of a delicious ice-cold Dr. Pepper is the game day lineup that can't be beat. Better yet, gather your Cowboys and Dr. Pepper fan friends to watch the next game and crack open a delicious ice-cold Dr. Pepper for everyone. The wins will be even tastier. It's a pepper thing.
Back to Talkin' Cowboys.
Back here on Talking Cowboys, this segment is brought to you by Invisalign, the official smile of the Dallas Cowboys. A lot of smiles around Dallas lately. The George Pickens trade. You got the Stars in action, Game 4 tonight with a 2-1 lead over the Winnipeg Jets. Go Stars, go. Woo! Cooper Flagg is going to be a Dallas Maverick. The Mavs secure the #1 pick in the NBA draft lottery. The Rangers just got to 500 again, 21-21 with a win last night over the Colorado Rockies. And then tomorrow night, the Cowboys schedule will be released.
Let's go.
It's a good week.
Tune in to American Stream from 1 to 6:30 on DallasCowboys.com.
Okay, so you said that in like a weird voice, but it actually is a really cool deal.
Talk to him about it, Kyle.
I'm dead serious.
You've got to tune into that. Yeah,
That's my normal voice, Kyle.
Is it?
Yes.
Okay. Yes.
Tell him again.
Sunday.
1 p.m. to 6:30, Micah, Osa, Tyler Smith, and CeeDee Lamb are hosting a stream for 5.5 hours leading up to the whole schedule release from the NFL.
That's cool.
As a league. It is really cool. I think it's going to be a cool event.
We could have
you didn't
make the cut.
We could have had a collab with.
We're doing a show out
Cowboys
there.
collab. With,
We're doing a show out there.
we are.
Yeah. Patrick's going to be there.
Oh,
Josh
nice.
is going to be there. Isaiah's going to be
Yeah.
there.
Okay.
I'm going to be there.
Have
Did you
fun,
not
guys.
get your invite?
No, I didn't.
Oh, weird. Maybe you're sticking back.
We're not actually doing a show
home
out
and
there,
cry.
but it would be fun. It would be fun.
Shouts to the social team. That's a really cool.
Yeah, they did a great job.
That's
Really big deal.
Good job, Soch.
America's Stream is what it is.
Oh,
It's on
that's
the
a cool
YouTube
name.
Table. Don't high five me. I didn't.
I know. I'm so.
Our YouTube comment of the day, Rashad says, "Where is Isaiah's neck?" And then he had a lot of weightlifting emojis after.
Yeah, I'm a
that.
little
Shoulder started his ears, bro. He's just.
I haven't. The thing is, I haven't lifted. All I've been doing is cardio,
Give me a Brock Lesnar, dude. Give me one.
bro. I am trying not to lift weights.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Trying not to. Like, you got to like stop yourself from doing.
No, because if I lift weights, I get too big. So right now I'm just doing all cardio.
You in Weightlifters Anonymous
Bro,
right now?
exactly where I'm at, bro. My name's Isaiah. Seriously, I'm doing all cardio right now.
Someone's in the bathroom with like a
Barry
45-pound
Church has inspired. Have you seen Barry lately?
He looks good.
Barry's like 122 pounds.
Yeah, he looks
Really?
good.
Yeah. Barry's been.
He's been playing golf.
He's running. No, he's running.
Oh,
Barry's been running everywhere.
Wow.
for him.
Shouts to B from Ohio, dude.
Yeah, B from Ohio. Yeah, he inspired me. So I'm trying to unbig my back. Hashtag right now.
Unbig my back.
Yes.
that's why you gave us all the shirts this morning that
Listen.
said Gym Rat.
Hey, them shirts are fire.
They are pretty sweet.
They are.
Yeah,
Fire.
I wish you were a sponsor. You got to get up there.
It's all good. I am. I'm
kinda
a
have
walking sponsor.
Yeah, we have a gym. All right. Cowboys, Eagles, week 1.
Let's freaking go.
Thursday night, NBC opener of the year. The Eagles will be hanging a Super Bowl banner at Lincoln Financial Field in front of the Cowboys.
Yeah.
You know who else is going to be working on that Thursday night?
We are.
You know, going right.
All of us. All of us are. And then we're going to turn around and be back on Friday. Hey, look, we've got a graphic. There
That's
it is.
right.
NFL kickoff
That's right. We'll be on the .com
side of
Dak
things.
with the bald fade. Let's go, baby.
Look at his face, huh?
There you go.
Locked
Yeah.
NBC, Peacock. It's going to be a big night, Thursday night, and then the Cowboys have to wait until their week 2 matchup with a little early mini bye. My question to you is, of course, Brian Schottenheimer's making his debut, and he's going to do it on the road against Philadelphia, first week of the year, defending Super Bowl champs. All of those things line up. But would you rather this early that trip to Philadelphia early or have it later in the season, one way or the other.
You know, I'm kind of mad that this is not an international game, honestly, Kyle. I feel like they just don't want Dallas to play on international games. How many years has this been running?
It's been
now?
a while.
And
2017 was the last one?
Yeah, that's madness, right? All these
could tell you.
11 international games, we don't get none of them. Crazy.
Yeah.
But, we got the first game. I like the fact that you start off with the Eagles. I like it. You get an idea of where you're at early.
Yeah.
Right? You get whether you win or whether you lose, obviously you want to win, but whether you win or whether you lose, you're going to learn a lot about your team that day, and you will be able to make adjustments, and you will have time to make adjustments prior to your second game of the season. So win or lose, as long as it's competitive, as long as you have an identity that day, you try to impose your will on them, and you find out where you're at. Obviously, you hope that you end up with a dub at the end of the day, but either way, I think that you'll have a good idea of where you stand with your team because you have just played the Super Bowl champs.
And it allows you to not get too high or too low.
Facts.
Because if you beat the Eagles, you do it on a team that just played definitely late, a lot later than you have.
Yeah.
And I think at least for the Cowboys, it's like, don't let that get to your head. If you win that game, it is an early barometer of what you said. You have an idea of what the team is going to be, and then you build from there. First game is not always an indication of who's going to win the Super Bowl.
No,
We've seen it many, many times.
We saw teams melt down last year.
The Lions beat the Kansas City Chiefs opening night. Was that 2 years ago? Come on, man.
Who started out hot last year that we were
necessarily
Saints.
Indicator of anything.
Oh, the Saints started out hot.
Yeah.
You got to stick, you got to play, and I love it, especially for Brian Schottenheimer, who it's like you're taking this job, and this is what you're taking this job for.
Yeah, let's go.
Under the lights, prime time, on the road at Philadelphia.
Don't interview for this job unless you want to be in a situation like this.
Yeah, right into the fire. I think, the interesting part is, like, Isaiah made the point, I was talking to Nick Eben about this yesterday, is you don't really know what a team is until probably week 2. I think he said week 2. I think maybe I give it a couple more.
Nate says Thanksgiving.
I would need
I
a
trust
little bit
him.
more. But, that first game is always so interesting because you've just got a bunch of pent up, like, oh, finally, we get to play somebody that's not us. Like, you've been practicing against each other for so long. And in the Cowboys case, it's interesting because they've got to sit out there for however many minutes before the game and watch the Eagles put up a Super Bowl banner. And it's their biggest rival on the opening night. So if that doesn't light a fire under your belly as a competitor, then you don't really have a great football team. I'm sorry. I mean, if that doesn't get you fired up and ready to play, then that's
Get to play
that's
spoiler
telling.
on
I think
that
that's
night.
telling. Yeah, you got to try to play spoiler. Obviously, regardless of whether they come out of there with a win or a loss, it's not going to derail their season or say they're going to the Super Bowl. But it's an early chance for Brian Schottenheimer to show, okay, we've been talking about, hey, we're going to play physical, we're going to run the football, and we're going to have a great culture. This is the spotlight for him to do that, not just in front of Cowboys fans and Eagles fans, but in front of the entire football world. So he's got a chance to show, hey, his dad had Marty Ball. What's Shoddy Ball? What's Brian Ball? I feel like
B-Ball.
It sounds like somebody's name.
Yeah, it's like what's Shoddy Ball look like, right? And so he's got a chance to prove. He has a chance to show people what that is. And it's cooking the way it cooks up is for him to have a really good chance to do that.
Don't be shaking in your boots, buddy. It's time to go.
Yeah.
Get after it. The one thing about this game too is that lead into week 2, that extra couple days, because you get the benchmark, you get that opportunity early, and then you get to reset and go for the rest of your schedule. It's not like it's a preseason game, because it certainly counts and there's a lot you can gain from it, but you get that extra mini bye to go into week 2. And it's, most likely, we don't know what the schedule is going to look like, but most likely that would be your home opener or another, either or. Most likely going to be your home opener. You get a chance to come home after a little couple days of rest, go up against the team that you could possibly beat in week 2.
And other guys, you get to watch football. That's the other thing from the player standpoint.
Yeah.
Obviously you play that game on Thursday, you get a couple of days of rest, and then on Sunday, most likely it's going to be a day where you're allowed to sit and watch the rest of the league, right? Just see, hey, okay, this is what you've already watched your film multiple times over by that point. Now you get to sit back on that Sunday and watch everybody else, right? And just see, okay, how do we fare in comparison to everybody else? What is the rest of the league doing, right? What are some of the schemes that they're doing? What are some of the defense, offense? Like, you get a chance just to look at it, back away from your own team and see what everybody else is doing. I think that's invaluable.
You get to do a little survey
Absolutely.
of the entire league.
You get to do a survey, but I think it sets up pretty well for this coaching staff, too, from a game plan perspective, because now I mean, you've got all the time in the world anyways for your first week game, but you can look ahead a little bit and start piecing things together as far as the Eagles go. And then you've got a couple extra days to relax and get ready to recover physically, and then get ready for the next team that you're playing. So it sets up well from a scheduling standpoint to where you can come into week 2 pretty refreshed, playing against a team that does not have as long of a break as you have.
Yeah. And the rest of the schedule comes out 7 o'clock tomorrow Central Time. 7 o'clock Central Time is when everything will be released, and we'll get to talk about kind of the rest of the schedule next week on Talkin Cowboys. This Eagles game, I'm excited about it. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. Thursday night, you get the entire league on top of you. By the way, Chris Beam said 2014 against the Jags was the last time.
2014. That's a long time.
That's crazy.
Played in over a decade.
That's wild.
11 years ago.
There's a reason for it. There is.
Thanksgiving. I get it.
Well, not even Thanksgiving, but the ratings from a Cowboys standpoint is going to be the same whether you're playing in Carolina or in London, and they're not going to try and disrupt a whole lot of that. I think it's a ratings thing more than anything.
Yeah.
I feel like they'll get one soon.
Oh, yeah, they'll have to. At some point, you got to be in the rotation.
And we ain't giving up a home game either, baby.
Yeah,
I thought this was going to be the year because they literally have a ton of international games. They're going to Madrid, they're going to London, they're going to Dublin, they're going to they're all over the place.
Barcelona.
Week 1, they're in Sao Paulo, Brazil. Chargers versus a TBD opponent. September 28th, it is the Vikings and the Steelers in Dublin, Ireland. That's going to be sweet.
That's awesome.
And then the Vikings stay in Europe. They go week 4 in Dublin, week 5
pre-gaming in
That's
Dublin,
crazy
dude.
to me.
What?
Imagine pre-gaming in Dublin.
The Vikings play the Browns
At the time.
With the
at
Miller
Tottenham
Lights, of course.
Hotspur Stadium.
That's dope. But like the Vikings get 2 games international back to back. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on, they could have given one of those to Dallas.
I mean, yeah. The week 6, Broncos, Jets in London. Week 7, Rams, Jags in London. Week 10, Falcons, Colts in Germany.
I feel like that's in the Jags like statute of limitations.
Oh,
they just We're playing in London every year.
Yeah.
Well, they're
the
soccer favorite to possibly move over there.
Well, he has a soccer team over there too.
Yeah. Week 11, Commanders, Dolphins in Spain. That's the
España.
That's what I'm like. I don't know. Anyways.
Pretty cool. All right. I've got a game for you guys.
Let's do it.
I've got a game coming up on the other side of the break. I want to blind rank all 17 games. Can't look at them. It's going to come randomly, and you got to just throw a number on it.
What division are we playing this year?
I'll tell you right after the break with more Talking Cowboys after this.
Todd thought it would be secure to jog in the cheetah savanna. Todd believed the big cat repellent he bought online was reliable. And now, Todd is trying to be faster than this cheetah that can run 80 miles per hour. But the good news is, Todd has AT&T 5G that is fast, reliable, and secure. And he learned the best thing to do is stop running and toss her the backpack with the beef stew. AT&T 5G. Fast, reliable, secure.
5G requires compatible plan and device. 5G may not be available in your area. See att.com/5G for you for details.
They say champions are remembered, but legends are never forgotten. United Ag and Turf offers a winning lineup of John Deere equipment built to tackle any challenge on and off the field. Legendary John Deere tractors, combines, residential mowers, commercial mowers, compact construction equipment, Gator utility vehicles, and a full line of golf and sports turf equipment. United Ag and Turf, the official Ag and Turf equipment supplier of the Dallas Cowboys. Visit UnitedAgAndTurf.com to find a location near you.
Hey y'all, Matt Pittman of Meat Church here. With football season kicking off, I'm already gearing up to bring the smoker back to AT&T Stadium for some epic tailgates. But with that Texas heat, it's crucial to keep my beer hand cramping cold. That's where Yeti's insulated Colster can cooler comes in clutch. This year, you can even get them with the iconic star engraved on the side. Licensed Yeti Cowboys gear is now available at Stadium Pro Shops, concessions, and on Yeti.com. Check it out today. Yeti, official cooler and drinkware of the Dallas Cowboys.
And we're going to overtime.
Erica, how much have I spent on concessions?
For questions about their money, Dallas Cowboys fans can turn to Erica, the virtual financial assistant in the Bank of America mobile banking app. Learn more at bankofamerica.com/Erica by your side. Bank of America, official bank of the Dallas Cowboys. Erica responses may vary. Digital tools featured require downloading the mobile banking app and may only be available on select mobile devices. Erica is a mobile feature only available in the English language. Your chat may be recorded and monitored for quality assurance. Message and data rates and additional terms may apply. Bank of America, N.A., member FDIC.
Back to Talkin' Cowboys.
Back here on Talking Cowboys with Tommy Yarrish, Josh Rodriguez, Isaiah Stanback. I'm Kyle Youmans with Chris Beam in the back.
I just grew.
All right, this is going to be based on toughness, scheduled toughness based on the divisional opponents, the conference opponents, and the interconference opponents that the Cowboys are going to face this year. Of course, you get 2 games against the NFC East. You get 1 game each, 2 on the road, 2 at home against the NFC North this year. That's the Packers, Vikings, Bears, and Lions. Your conference opponents this year end up being the Cardinals and the Panthers. Your interconference opponents out of the AFC West are the Chiefs, Chargers, Broncos, Raiders. And then based on the division placement last year, your interconference opponent is on the road against the New York Jets. So we've got 17 games. We're going to rank these blindly 1 through 17, and I'll keep track of it. Starting with at the Detroit Lions. Tough game right off the jump. Where do you go in your ranking? 1 through 17. Just place them. This early one, you got to put them pretty high, right?
So we're saying 1 is the most difficult, we're saying?
1 is the most difficult. 17 is the least difficult.
Okay. I'm going to say Detroit is number 1.
You're going to put them all the way at the top.
That's right.
At Detroit. Why?
Because Detroit is one heck of a team, and we've struggled with Detroit, and their physicality in Detroit is difficult as well.
Okay.
I would go 3.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going 3.
You're going to go 3? Yeah. So by a score of 2-1, we're going to put that one at 3. Sorry, Isaiah.
Name it.
But
difficult.
At Lions is at number 3. All right, Cardinals at home.
Womp womp.
Arizona Cardinals. Josh.
At home, give me 16.
16? Okay. Wow, you think it's a pretty easy game then?
It should be.
Should be.
We'll see.
Kyler Murray healthy.
It is those freaking
14?
Cardinals.
I'll go
14.
I'm 14.
Okay, by a score of 2-1, we're going to go 14 Cardinals. There you go. Thank you, Beamer. I think he agrees in the back. At home against the Vikings.
JJ McCarthy.
Or Justin Jefferson, JJ?
Let's go with
2 JJs.
6.
5 for me.
Okay.
I can go with 5. I can be with 5.
Isaiah, what are you thinking?
Stand your ground, sir. 6.
Okay, 6.
So we're going to go with 6.
All right.
There you go. So at number 6, you've got the Vikings. Next one is at the Giants.
Oh, no.
Oh, no. 15.
16.
16.
16.
All right.
Okay, at the Giants. At 16. All right. Next one is the Packers at home. Green Bay at home. You never really seem to beat them here.
That's a revenge
tough
game,
one.
baby. That'll be tough, but I don't know, man. Give me we already have 6, don't we?
Yep, have a 6. We have a 3. What was the Cardinals? I think I messed up the...
Give me a 4.
4?
Give me a 4.
Green Bay?
I would go 5.
Okay.
I'm a 2.
You that far up there? Yeah. So we'll go split the difference. We'll put them at 4.
Okay.
So Packers at 4. All right, so now we've got the Bears on the road.
Oh, come on. Tommy,
Let Tommy start on this one.
Here we go.
I feel like the Bears are going to be really good this year.
What?
Yeah,
really
okay.
good?
I think you'd look at Caleb Williams, year 2. Ben Johnson's got a lot of weapons he can use.
I'm not convinced on Caleb, but I think
I would go.
They got Al Harris, man.
Got
I would go
Colston
5 or
You got
7.
Al Harris.
5
Oh,
or 7.
brother, this guy stinks!
Thanks, Chris.
All right.
I'm high on the Bears. I think 5 or 7.
Of course you are, dude. Give me 8.
Yeah, I'm going to go with, give me an 8.
I'm fine with that.
Going 8.
I'm good with that.
Bears. And it's on the road. So there's that element to it. At the Bears at 8. All right.
Come back to this game later.
Yeah, I think that's we're gonna end up hurting after that one's over.
There's gonna be some tough games that you guys are gonna have at
we're gonna have to
12. Kansas City at 12, guys.
Exactly.
Everything
that's
is
the
already
whole point
taken
around this blind ranking. I saw this idea on Instagram, and we're just gonna go by it. All right. The Eagles at home.
Eagles at home.
You've got 1, 2, 5, 7 open.
3. Give me 5.
5.
Put it at 5.
Oh, I'm sorry. You said open. My bad. Yeah, 5.
Open, yeah. At the Jets.
7.
17.
Oh yeah,
that low?
Yeah, low.
Yeah, I was about to say 7. Man,
7.
We have available.
got one.
I thought you said that's all we had.
We've got 1, 2,
No, about
7, 9, 10, 11, 13, 14, 15,
Oh.
and 17.
Give me 15.
17.
Give me 15.
15. You said 17. You said 17.
17.
You said it's the easiest game of the year at the Jets. All right. I don't know about that one, guys.
Carolina's on the schedule.
Yeah, Carolina's on the schedule.
Hey,
The Giants at home is on the schedule. You literally haven't lost to them in
Freaking
God
A,
knows
guys.
how long. We just don't like New York
Put
here.
the
I
Giants
guess.
at 16.
At the Giants, then you got
At the Jets.
a
I have
home
them
game.
at
Home game
Jets.
against the Giants.
All right, whatever's lower. Whatever's lowest next.
what?
There's always a chance to split when you play a
All
team.
right, next
All
one.
right, guys. Commanders at home. Home game against the Commanders. We will have the road game
What's the
momentarily.
top 5? What, top 10? What we have available?
We have 1, 2, and 7, and 9 and 10 available. Let me just run down. since
Home
we're about-
9.
Home 9. Okay.
I would agree.
9, 7. So we'll go with 9. So Commanders at home. Here's what we have so far. This is not going to look good, guys. 1 and 2 are open. 3 is the Lions on the road. 4 is the Packers at home. 5 is the Eagles at home. 6 is the Vikings at home. 7 is open. At the Bears is at 8. I don't know about that one, guys. 9 is the Commanders at home. 10 open, 11 open. Cardinals at 12 at home. 13, 14, 15 are open. And then 16 is at the Giants. 17 at the Jets.
Okay.
All right. So next one is at the Broncos. On the road against the Broncos.
Oh, that'll be sneaky tough.
Top 10 available?
Sneaky
What is it?
tough.
11.
1, 2, 7, and 10.
Give me 7.
Yeah, I'd go 7.
Guys,
I'll
we
go
got-
10.
Got
I would
the
go 10.
Chiefs and Eagles and
Yeah.
Chargers. You going 10?
I'm going 10.
Where are you going?
10.
10? Okay, so at Broncos, we'll go 10. You going 7 there, Isaiah?
Yep.
You would have been?
Yeah.
All right, Chargers at home.
11.
That seems like a perfect 11.
Yeah.
Is that about right? Chargers at home. Okay. And then we're going to go with the Commanders on the road.
That's tougher. You said 7's open?
Available?
7 is available.
That's 7.
That's 7. Think so? 1 and 2. Are you guys saving 1 and 2 for the reigning Super Bowl champion
I
and
said Detroit
AFC
at
champions?
Probably.
I had Detroit at 1.
Yeah.
Detroit's tough.
I would go Kansas City 1, Philly 2.
I would flip those.
At the Panthers.
What's the last?
Got 13,
slot?
14, and 15.
15.
15.
Giants. You still have the Giants at home.
That's fine.
Haven't done that one.
Yeah.
You think this is easier?
Yeah.
At Panthers. At 15. All right. Going to the Chiefs.
1. No, 2. 2.
At home against Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs.
2.
What's available? Top 10?
1 and 2. Those are the only 2 top 10 available. This is going to be weird because it's 1 and 2, then you got 13, 14 as the final 4.
Yeah, 2.
Okay. Where are you going? You trying to decide?
Kyle, where are you going?
Yeah.
I would put it at 2. I'd say at the Eagles is 1.
I say Chiefs 1 still.
You would put them at 1?
Yeah.
I don't know. At the Raiders. Raiders.
14.
14, 13 and 14.
Oh, wait. We have 13 and 14 left?
Yeah.
13.
Okay.
I'd go 14.
Yeah, 14.
Okay, so
Still
we'll
got
put,
the
we'll put it at
Giants, though.
You do have the Giants.
Yeah, Giants are going to be competitive.
You think so?
Yeah.
At Eagles, is that number 1?
Number 1.
2. But
We've already got
I'm
2
outvoted
taken.
here.
Yeah, we've already had 2 taken. So at Eagles is 1, and then 13 is the last game of the year at home against the Giants. So here's our final ranking. It's not terrible. At the Eagles, at home against the Chiefs, at the Lions, at home against the Packers, Eagles, Vikings, at the Commanders, at Bears, Commanders at home, at the Broncos is 10. So that rounds out the top 10. Then it goes Chargers, Cardinals, Giants at home, Raiders, Panthers, Giants, and Jets all on the road.
I might flip the Jets game with the Panthers.
The 15 and 17?
Yeah.
I think I would flip 13 and 17. I would put the Jets above the Raiders and Panthers, but I would have the Giants as the final 2 on the
Do you guys think we match up better against Detroit than in Philly?
I mean, neither one of them have really.
They both
been
run
great
the ball
for-
really well.
I know. I'm just asking.
I'm not saying it's a great
I
game.
had
great
Detroit
matchup
at
either
one.
way.
Is the number one toughest matchup.
Yeah, it's hard. I think they match up better against Philly, honestly, than they do Detroit.
Me too.
But
you got to play them twice, and I guarantee you,
Yeah.
you lose one of those. I don't know.
Yeah, that's a tough one.
It's a toss-up for me with the Lions because we played them really well 2 years ago. Last year, of course, we got killed.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
I wonder what the chat would say. What would you put? Eagles? Which one do you match
Chat,
up?
are we cooked?
Which one do you match up better against? The Eagles, Lions, or Chiefs? Which one do you match up against between the two? I want to see what the chat says across the board. Why do you think the Lions are a tougher matchup?
I just think that they're well balanced all around. I think that they have one heck of a running game, one heck of a passing game. I think that their pass rush is nasty. I think they're relentless on defense. I think they have a nice little tandem at cornerback now that can go out there and cause you some issues while their front seven can get after your quarterback. So I just think that they're a stout team, man. Now, the only reason why they didn't go all the way last year, in my opinion, is because of injury.
Yeah, and how do you stop the run, too?
You
I mean, you can't against those two teams.
And you can't, yeah.
Against the Eagles and the Lions.
Yeah, both teams offensively are nasty. The only difference is, well, now Philly has a 1-2 punch, too. They picked up A.J. Dillon. So, good luck with that.
Yeah. Stop the run.
He's a
score
ball.
points, baby.
He's juggernaut, yeah. I mean, so from that sense, when you look at their offenses, I think Detroit's more dangerous.
The chat is leaning Lions a little bit toward Eagles. Not a ton of love here for the Chiefs, though.
Chiefs, they got a lot of work to do, I think.
They had injuries last year, too. You remember, they played their whole entire year without their number one receiver.
Yeah.
Right.
So he's back.
Best QB in the game, though. Can't knock him.
For sure.
And a lot of people. Tristan said Dak is 4-1 against the Eagles in the last 5 games. Those were different Eagles teams.
And Dak and Jalen Hurts have only gone up against each other 3 times.
Yeah, not a lot. They've kind of been in and out,
Crazy.
one way or the other between the two of them. But why do you think the Chiefs are the toughest?
I think Patrick Mahomes just in and of itself just makes it so difficult. And I think, what he's able to do with at times in his career has not been the best receiving core. I mean, you saw some of it last year when, Travis Kelce is not necessarily what he used to be. And even when Kelce was what he was, you look at the receivers around him and it's not really great. I think that they've done a really good job, and Andy Reid's a great play caller. So what they're able to do offensively, as long as Mahomes is there, I think you've got a shot in any game. And then you think about, Steve Spagnuolo and that defense, what they were able to do last year to really help, I thought, carry the team to where they got. They've still got a lot of good pieces coming back. Chris Jones, in the middle of the defensive line, is still really good. So there's a lot to like with Kansas City, and I think they're just a consistent winner that's always going to be in games and competing. It's just a hard team to win against.
And I would
they
argue
lost some guys on defense, though.
They did. I would argue they have the best play caller in the league right now. For
sure.
And you've got Andy Reid. You've got a chance.
Both sides of the ball.
Yeah, both guys. Yeah, Spagnuolo and Reid. Like you would put both of those guys over almost anybody in their respective positions across the entire NFL. And it's like having 2 head coaches and 2 guys that are established enough to be head coaches that have just stuck around in Kansas City because they have something special going there. Yeah, I would still put the Lions first because I just
me too.
I their roster is almost impenetrable. Eagles and the Chiefs both lost a little bit, but they're still so good that they deserve to be number 2 and number 3.
But that's at home, correct? Or is that at Detroit?
Chiefs? No, it's at Detroit. Is what it has here. Yeah, that's
tough.
At Detroit.
I just feel like Detroit.
Ford Field.
The Detroit that we know, right? This is going to be a completely different Detroit, right? And we're going to have to get accustomed to that. But I just think when you look at their roster, they don't have any weaknesses.
Right.
Like they legit have no weaknesses in there.
And they continue to add.
And they're relentless. That's the other intangible. They're just relentless, man. Those guys just keep coming after you.
I'm just going to finish my Black Rifle coffee and think about it.
And think about it a little bit. This is also the first time since that controversial ending in 2023 that Dallas will have played at Ford Field too. So that crowd is going to be nuts.
Unreal.
Nuts. It's going to be a lot. All right. That does it for us here on Talking Cowboys. Remember, America's Stream tomorrow, 1 p.m. Central Time, leading up until the schedule release, 7 o'clock. You can hear Micah, CeeDee, Osa Odigizua, and then Tyler Smith, the 4 players, and plus a ton of special guests, like really big name guys.
Yeah, watch the whole thing. You got nothing better to do. It's Wednesday.
Isaiah's on it, and it's going to be a big thing.
Starts at 1 o'clock.
Stream.
DallasCowboys.com.
Josh might leak the schedule between now and then.
Hey, you know what I mean.
All right, but then the entire schedule will be released at 7 o'clock, and we'll be back next week to talk about it and to break it all down. For Tommy Yarrish, Josh Rodriguez, Isaiah Stanback, Chris Beam in the back, I'm Kyle Youmans saying so long from Talking Cowboys. We will see you next week.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about this, Cowboys? Yeah!